This is one of the craziest weeks we've had in competitive Fortnite. We had a pro player being banned for 14 days for something they did last season. Even though they're able to play last grand finals, they were told they couldn't play this FNCS, which is not a good sign for Clicks. I'm going to explain that whole situation. We, of course, had the Surge Week, the last chance to qualify for the grand finals. We had huge teams like Sensitive Fabs trying to close out their Cinderella run, and it was one of the most ridiculous finishes I've ever seen. Let's cover it all. Before we get into talking about FNCS Surge Week, the last minute qualifiers, all the craziness, we got to talk about Andalex's 14-day competitive ban and what it means for Clicks. So if you guys somehow missed this, it's a very weird situation. Andalex got an email from Epic support saying that he'd been banned for 14 days for collusion, basically teaming in a solo cash cup from last season. Now, before I go into this, it was a wrongful ban. Andalex was not meant to be banned, but because it was a 14-day ban, it meant that even though he wasn't supposed to play last FNCS and tournaments for 14 days, even though he did because they never told him he was banned, they were extending that 14-day ban into this FNCS. Like I talked about with the whole Click situation. If you get banned for 14 days, you're not supposed to be able to play the current FNCS and the next one. Turns out it was a wrongful ban. I have no idea how you accidentally ban someone from a tournament months ago, write up an entire email explaining why they're banned and what it means. I don't know, but like I said, this is not a good sign for Clicks going forward because it means they are still enforcing that 14-day competitive ban, banning you from 2 FNCSs. Clicks was unbanned yesterday. He was playing Arena. He's talking about playing the Duo Cash Cups and Solo Cash Cups this week. His spirits are high, and it seems like he's confident he's going to be able to play the next FNCS. So we'll have to keep an eye out. Maybe they're changing the decision on that rule. Maybe them not enforcing it on Andalex, even though they were going to, and he was wrongfully banned. It's a weird situation. Honestly, if that just made sense to you, that probably means you didn't understand it because the whole situation is so stupid, it just doesn't make sense. Now, let's talk about the Surge Week, one of my favorite tournaments every season. In case you don't know how it works, it's for the last 10 spots in the grand finals. There's 5 games. If you win one of the 5 games, you stop playing and you go straight through to grands, just like reboot rounds. But there is also a consistency point. If you get top 5 on the leaderboard at the end of the tournament and you didn't get a win, you also go straight through to grands. And NA kicked off with the hype when we had Scoped and Mason winning it on stream, and this was their reaction.
Doctor guy, literally. I knocked one. He has no siphon. You win. Let's fucking go, dude! Let's fucking go, bro! Let's fucking go, baby! Oh my god, you're fucking nasty, bro! Let's fucking go, dude!
Let's go!
Oh my god, dude! Let's fucking go, dude! Holy shit! Let's fucking get it, baby! Ah, let's go!
Let's go, Scope!
Holy fuck, dude!
Oh my god, we played that
Look at the
perp!
chat.
We're insane!
Let's fucking
Let's
go!
go!
Dude.
Super happy to see Scoped and Mason pick that one up. A lot of people talking smack on Scoped. He's washed. He has made a grands in a while. Winning game 1 on stream was super hyped. I'm so happy for him. We had Jack and Quaff picking up game number 2. Sprite and Giants picking up game number 3, which has big implications for Kanata and Ages if Giants and Sprite are going to contest the racetrack. We have Seek and Lawrence picking up game number 4, and then Diego plays and Smallsy clutching it up in game number 5, taking the last spot. And that game number 5 was intense and very heartbreaking. I'll talk about why in a second. Now, let's talk about the consistency spots. We had Thoric and Bolts, the NA West champions, finishing in first on 232 points. A lot of people talking smack on them. They only won because they're on West. Now they're versing East. They can't even make finals. Super happy to see them make it through the grand finals on the back of an insane solo clutch from Bolt in, I think, the 2nd or 3rd last game. Got an 8 elim 3rd, but as a solo from like before rotating. It was insane. Casca and Clarity, one of the most consistent teams of last season, struggling a bit this season, but I don't think it's because they've gotten worse. The opens format just doesn't really suit them. Once they make the skilled lobbies, once they make the set lobbies, they play really well. I think they're one of the favorites to do well in the grand finals out of our Surge Week qualifiers. Then we have Mega and Snake. Now, second last game, Snake went down early and Mega clutched up so many points, and game number 5, Snake didn't load in at all, but the veteran held it down. He held onto their spot. They qualified through on consistency. Now, we have Shadow and Paper taking the second last consistency spot, tied on 188 with Zypher and On1 who took the last spot, and then Static and Wavy Jacob who missed out on the 3-way tiebreak. They didn't qualify by 0.4 of an average elims. I felt so bad. Wavy Jacob, a comp veteran. I love Wavy. Static, a new up-and-comer. You probably saw him playing last season with Faxity. This kid is a name to look out for in the future. He is insane, and they just missed out. Then we had Paytech, Cardi, and then Centered and Favs. Now, Centered and Favs, obviously the Cinderella run. If you guys don't know, after Clicks got banned, Centered had to restart with Favs in week 3. They needed a top 10 in week 3 finals just to make it here to Surge Week. They clutched it up in the last game, and then coming into Surge Week, they switched up their drop to Mega City. They're getting coached by Epic Whale and Reed because the racetrack was being taken by Sprite. Now, Sprite won game 3, which opened up the racetrack for the last 2 games. Centered and Favs, without the racetrack, were on a 41st, 22nd, and 17th place. Not terrible, but definitely not good. Their first game at racetrack, they get a 4 elim 4th. All they have to do in game number 5 is get a high elim 2nd or win the game. It came down to Favs versus Diego in the 5th game, and this happened. Diego's got a med mist and a slurp. Favs got a slurp and 5 splashes. He's got the heal off. They got no mass. They drop down. Centered, no. Centered dies. Favs got a clutch. Wait, 1v1. It's a 1v1 against Diego. Oh shit. Diego had meds though. Diego had the med mist and the slurps. He's only got 15 left for the med mist. Favs is in the pump. Favs versus Diego. Favs has to hit it. He has to hit it. I think Diego has the heal off, and no! Dude, Centered is fucking cursed. He's actually cursed. Such an unfortunate end to the run. Favs just had to win the 1v1. They didn't have mats, so Centered dropped down. Centered actually handled this really well. He was saying on Twitter, can't blame anyone, not Epic's fault, just didn't play well enough. They go again next season, which pretty much confirms as long as Clicks can play next FNCS, we will see Centered and Clicks, and they are both still looking absolutely phenomenal. I believe we are going to see Centered and Clicks this week for the Duo Cash Cup, so that should be exciting to see as well. It was unfortunate, but I need to make this very clear in case you watch this and then you're gonna go hate on Diego. He ended the Cinderella run, but he is a professional player playing for his spot in the grand finals. He's not just gonna roll over and let Favs win it because some people want it more. It was very well played by Diego. I want to give him his props for clutching up that 1v1 at the end. It was a very, very intense finish. Switching gears to EU, we had Jerky and Fredoxy closing out game 1 with a 4 elim win. The FNCS champ was not going to be missing grand finals straight on through. Then we had Floki and Clement picking up the second game. The French teams have been a little bit quiet in Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. We've now had Snazy and Podicide doing really, really well, being picked up by the new org mates. I really want to see how the French team start to perform. Floki and Clement with a really, really good game number 2, a 10 elim win to secure that one. Then we had Pablo and Bevies, again, one of the favorites last season, has had a bit of a shaky this season, but a 8 elim first in game number 3 gets them straight into grand finals to show they do still have what it takes. Then we had Jay and Cosmo picking up the 4th game win with a 4 elim win, and then Eyedrop and Mappy picking up the very last game with a 7 elim win. Eyedrop and Mappy have been on and off, a lot of focus on Eyedrop since he split with Mr. Savage. They had unconned Anvil, so I'm not at all surprised to see them clutch this up. With the win in the last game, they could have still qualified even if they didn't win it. The second place would have been enough because they did play very consistent throughout the day with a 4 elim 10th and a 6 elim 3rd. As for our consistency spots over on EU, we had Steno and Lucy closing out the top spot on 230 points. They played very, very consistent Fortnite. We had Gavix and Schmecky taking the second spot, Combek and Artor the poles, Kefi and Perhawa again the poles, then Toos and Putrick. Toos and Putrick have been holding it down at the racetrack, which means they could be contesting Malibuka and Thomas in the grand finals. And historically from this season, when Toos and Putrick and Thomas and Malibuka go head to head, Toos and Putrick actually come out on top more often, or at least equal. So Thomas and Malibuka's chance of qualifying has gone down drastically, unfortunately. Again, I'm gonna do a grand finals prediction video later in the week. I'm gonna talk about the drop spots, who's going up against who I think is gonna do well. I don't want to talk about it too much today, but the results of these Surge weeks have shaken things up for a lot of the favorites. We had Tropics and Huddy just missing out by 2 points, and then Hen and Paco also missing out by 4 points. A single elimination. They brought it back at the end with a 4 elim 5th and a 7 elim 4th, but unfortunately the multi FNCS champ is going to be missing grands, and there's a lot of rumors of Hen being washed. I hope he can bring it back. Hen still does look incredible. He switched the IGL role out of being a fragger, and unfortunately doing well, just not well enough. That's all the action from the Surge Week and this week in competitive. I'm going to have a video coming out soon of my grand finals predictions. Keep an eye out for it. I'll see you in the next one.